You are listening to the Real Estate Blind Bid Provocateurs, a podcast taking a bold stand against the opaque and frustrating process of blind bids in residential real estate. Blind bids have long plagued real estate with uncertainty, mistrust, and manipulation with the truth. This podcast is a production of True Home Value, the pioneers of transparent open bidding, where every detail of every offer is available to every buyer. Let's get into it. I'm your host, James Clark. I'm here with my co-host, KieAnn Brownell. KieAnn, what's happening?
How are you?
I'm good. Continuing to ping on this article that you wrote, The 7-Way Agents Lie with the Truth. And I feel like this is the one that you and I are both like, really, let's get into this one. Yeah. So this one is, just checking my handy little notes, it is, thank you for your offers. Now give us your highest and your best. Tell us, when did this happen? Why is this crazy? Why is this kind of one of those cornerstones to the entire reason why we even have True Home Value out there as an alternative to the blind bid systems?
This is the cornerstone, James, and it is the one that makes me crazy as an agent and really makes everybody crazy. It's a lose for everyone, in my opinion. So when this happens is, let's say there's a property that's in high demand that has multiple offers. The listing agent will set a deadline. Let's say, submit all your offers by Sunday night at 5 p.m. So everybody rushes, and there's all kinds of psychology. Some want to be first, and some want to be last, and some rush in right at the last minute. So whatever. All the offers get submitted, then 30 minutes, an hour later, everybody that submitted an offer gets a notification from the listing agent that's basically, okay, thank you so much for all your offers and all the interest. Now, please submit your highest and best by 9 o'clock tonight. So first of all, it's a very short timeline, typically. Mm-hmm. And second of all, this just makes everyone crazy, right? It just creates undue angst amongst all parties. Because what it immediately says is, we have no idea where we stand in the process. Am I bidding against myself? What if I'm already the highest bid? And how high do I need to go? And what does this even mean? This is, in my opinion, the number one most manipulative process that's intrinsic in the real estate home buying process today. And the crazy thing about it, not only does it just erode trust and the integrity of the process, obviously it's not transparent, but the crazy thing about it, James, is that it does not produce the highest price for the seller. Because my experience is time and time again, as when working with buyers, when this comes out, buyers don't just go, okay, yeah, great. Let's open the checkbook and write a bigger offer. Buyers immediately go, what's going on? They immediately pull back. They immediately distrust the process, believe they're being manipulated, believed that the agent is acting deceptively. And so instead of just writing a higher offer, a lot of times they'll withdraw their current offer, or like I said, just say, we're going to let it ride. It doesn't produce the highest price necessarily for the seller, like the seller and the listing agent think it is. I believe if it was transparent and they could see where they really stood, then it makes a lot more sense. Okay, I'm out by $1,000. Yeah, I'll go up.
Right. I can imagine. All right. There's so much to unpack in everything you just said there. One is, give us your best and highest offer. Somebody has the best and highest offer. So that message is going to the person with the best and highest offer in the current moment. So you're absolutely right. How do you know if you are or not? And then if you're thinking that you're being smart about it, you almost have to think, I must be in the highest offer position. So it's like that idea of, okay, now I'm immediately thinking I'm going to start bidding against myself. To your point, your last point there is, now I'm going to retract. But if you knew you were bound by $1,000, maybe you go $1,500 more or whatever. So on this, by the way, we come back to a couple of the points you made. This must drive people crazy when they lose the bid, because they're like, what did we lose by? Like our best and highest offer. And then if they come back and found they lost by $500, that just must be infuriating for that buyer. Just insane, right?
Yeah. And the winning buyer has remorse, because what if they already were the highest and best and then they raised it $5,000, costing themselves another $5,000 that they didn't need to. It's why you see so many of these deals fall out of contract once a buyer wins the bid. They immediately have buyer's remorse. They immediately are like, how come I won? How much higher am I than everybody else? Where do I stand? It's such a flawed process. And it's just unbelievable to me that this is the way we buy and sell real estate.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up, because now the deal isn't done, right? Now you have to go through, okay, they accepted our offer. Now we have to go through inspection to our last episode, where it was like, oh, okay, here we have backup offers in hand because they're negotiating on inspection objections. And if you're going into this thinking, I think I bid against myself, I think I paid $5,000 more, now I'm going to get really down and dirty on this next phase of the negotiations, versus, hey, I had all the information, I had all the data, everything's above ground, I feel good about it. Just that idea of how it moves you into the next phase, it's not over yet. And it puts you in just disarray, and I don't know if it's disarray, but it puts you into, you're mistrusting the other side here at this point in time.
Absolutely. It immediately creates an antagonistic relationship between the buy side and the sell side, right? We don't trust each other now. And here we go into this.
Yeah. And then
no,
go ahead. No, you go.
I was just going to say, a couple of years ago, it wasn't uncommon. We were seeing 40% of deals fall after they went under contract because people were getting buyer's remorse and going, I don't feel good about this. Think about that from an emotional standpoint. Especially like if you're a first-time home buyer, you should be excited. You should be feeling joyous. And instead, you're just riddled with anxiety and remorse. It's just bad all the way through.
It's so bad. And then the thing about it, being out here in Colorado and like hiking trails, and so I always feel like this is the false summit. It's, you actually won the bid, and then now you have this entire other process to pull through, or you lost the bid and now you're back, you're off trail again. You got to find your way back. It's just exhausting for everybody to be in this situation.
It is. It's just, buying a house has to be one of the worst emotional processes that you can go through right now. I can't imagine. Think about when you go and you buy a car or you order a car. Think how excited you are, and you can't wait for this car to get in, and you want to board the day you buy it and you drive it off the lot. You feel great. I can pretty much say that for the most part, you really never have that experience when you buy a house.
Because it's that moment in time where you think you won, then there's the negotiations, then there's the closing, then there's rent backs. There's all kinds of things that can happen in the process. And by the time you get there, you're just like crawling through the front door of exhaustion, because now you have to move.
Well, and
right?
I was going to say, Ben, the worst of all, you have to move. What could be worse than moving?
Yeah, exactly. Not much. Okay, so the highest and best is really that emotional trigger. I love how you pointed it. It really sets up that antagonist relationship at that point between the buyer and the seller, where in an open bid platform, an open transparent bid platform like we have at True Home Value, you can see everybody's offer. It's totally fine. Hey, if I want to go up 500 or 1,500, or if I'm not comfortable waiving inspection, just not going to do it. But at least you're going to know why you won or why you lost. And at that point in time, that moment of not creating that antagonistic relationship, as you were saying, is really, it's a game changer. It's a game changer.
For sure.
All right, KieAnn, thank you for going through that one. That was number 4. Give us your highest and best by, 5 p.m.? 5 p.m.
Yeah.
In 3 hours, give us your highest and best by 9 p.m. Okay, we're going to switch the perspective. I think a lot of this has been a little bit on the listing agent side. And you started going through your list here, and looks like you're transitioning now to the buyer's agent. So this next one we're going to talk about is buyer's agents stretch the truth about the financial strength of their clients. So that'll be our next episode. We thank you for listening, and thanks, KieAnn, and we'll come back at you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Real Estate Blind Bid Provocateurs. If you learned something today and are ready to bring trust, transparency, and fixed cost to residential real estate, then don't be shy about it. Tell your friends, colleagues, and family. Perhaps you know someone who is thinking about buying or selling a home. do them a favor and hit that share button and text a link to this episode. They'll be sure to thank you. If you prefer to watch your podcast as videos, guess what? We're on YouTube. Find us by searching for True Home Value. And thank you so much for listening. And that is about as much as we can incite in a day. Have a good one.